The CrossFit Games day one is over and done. And I think the only way we can make this fair for day 2, 3 and 4 for male athletes is give Matt Fraser some kind of, I don't know, 30-second minute time penalty at the start of each WOD. I think that's the only way. I think that is the only way Matt Fraser will beat. He is literally the GOAT. I'm putting it out there. Better than Rich Froning. I'm putting it out there. Anyway, before we get into the video, I am your average CrossFitter and today is the day one highlights and recap video. We're going to start things off with the team side of things, where we saw CrossFit Mayhem dominate from the start yet again. They started on the assault to bob workout, which was the assault bike and the big bob machine, which was like crazy. It had stupid amounts of weight. I can't remember the actual weight of it, but CrossFit Mayhem actually didn't go out the blocks that fast for the first round, and they were not in the lead. But then you just saw the composure in like Rich Froning and Dre. They knew what they were doing from the start. They paced themselves perfectly, and then by the end of round one, they were back into the lead, and they broke away from the field. I think they finished like over a minute and a half ahead of the second place. CrossFit Krypton looked very good in that first WOD. X-Terminators was second, Krypton was third, and they looked very good. I think people were wondering whether they would gel straight away, being one of the super teams. Yeah, they look good. I kind of like the way they do their business. They're not taking themselves too seriously off the field, but as soon as they get on, they just kind of switch into game mode. But that's what you get from having games athletes in your team. The second workout of the day was the rope worm workout, and I was surprised to see quite a lot of the teams actually struggle with this. Whether, again, CrossFit Mayhem just made it look absolutely effortless. You can tell Rich Froning's got them doing work on the worm all the time. They were like a well-oiled machine. Honest to God, the way you looked at the top of that worm, every single kind of thruster, it did not get out of place. They knew when they were resting, they knew when to put it down. Like I say, smooth is fast. Like, don't worry about rushing through your reps. If you're keeping things nice and smooth, you're going to dominate. And yet again, Rich Froning and CrossFit Mayhem dominated, absolutely destroying the field in that, giving themselves plenty of rest before they moved on to the max clean and jerk. Now, it was the max clean and jerk that I thought maybe they might not slip down. You've got some very strong guys in Invictus. Yeah, Rich Froning hit a 345 clean and jerk. Dre did 2. Froning just missed the 360, but was very, very close. Yeah, so they took 2 of the 3 events on day one. So I can't see any way anyone's not even going to get close to CrossFit Mayhem. They are just absolutely dominating. And China Chow, what an addition to the team. Honestly, like, she is leading that team so well. She's their banksman, so she's doing all the explaining, all the talking to the team. What an addition, what an addition. Moving on to the women's side of things. The first workout of the day was obviously the 400 meter run, the legless rope climbs, and then the squat snatch, which was announced by Dave Castro after the athlete ceremony. And we finally got to see all the national champions take to the floor. But I think this is kind of where the fun ended for the national champions, because it just kind of showed how out their depth they were. Not all national champions, obviously, because you've got your main national champions from, I don't know, like America, UK, all the European countries. But yeah, some of the lesser known countries and athletes struggled massively, to the point where they were struggling to even do a rope climb. So in heat 1 and 2, there was actually no one that finished under the time cap in the women's. The Laura Hovarth looked good for the first couple of rounds, but then died off on the last set of rope climbs. Going into the final heat, with all the big girls in there, Tia went off like a rocket. Like, you're expecting all these people to like push her, and you think, oh, maybe this might be the year she gets caught up. No, she went out of the rocket. She stamped her authority on the field straight away, and she finished in sub 17 minutes. And I still don't think many people in that heat finished the actual workout. So Hayley Adams though, wow. I like Hayley Adams. We saw her at Strength in Depth in London. And this is her first time competing with the females, well the big girls so to speak. So she was a teen at the games for the last couple of years. So yeah, first time competing, and then she ends up smashing it and getting a 4th place. Like, wow. Like when you see half the field, well, a lot more than half the field, half of the main girls not even finishing a workout, you see Sigmund's daughters. For her to finish 4th was unbelievable, so I was absolutely stoked for her. So that was awesome. One thing we were concerned about though when we was watching it though was Sarah Sigmund's daughter. It panned to her after she finished her, well, when she was going through her legless rope climbs on the final round, and the look on her face was worrying. Like, she looked visibly upset, like crazy upset. Now I spoke to a friend who was out there, and he thinks there was nothing wrong with her, she just had a poor technique on the legless rope climbs. But yeah, I thought there was more to it than that, so it'll be interesting to see if she is injured. Surely she can't be injured for another CrossFit Games. We'll see. Before we get on to the men's recap, if you are enjoying this video, please smash that like button and please subscribe to the channel. The last preview video on the CrossFit Games did absolutely amazing, got over 10,000 views, so thank you very much for everyone who's supporting the channel. It's pretty awesome, so yeah, thank you very much for that. Now, going on to the men's. Dave Castro might as well hand Matt Fraser his #1 medal now, because that guy, he's not human. He's not human. People kept thinking Pat Vellner might push him, Fikowski might push him. Nah. Go on. Before we get on to the final heat, let's talk about Heat 1 first. With the lesser known athletes were in Heat 1. However, they were joined by Ben Smith. So Ben Smith got the wild card, been to the game 10 times. This is his 11th year. Had knee surgery, got the wild card this year. They stuck him in with some of the lesser athletes, and wow, was the difference. He was lapping people on the 2nd round almost. It was unbelievable to watch. Amazing to see Ben Smith looking in such good shape. And he posted a very, very good time. I think it was 16:38 or something like that. Awesome time. And then it was interesting to see how his time compared with the final heat. And actually, he absolutely killed it. And ended up coming 4th in the event behind James Newbury. Heat 2, James Newbury and Will Moonrad went head to head. That was very fun to watch. Will Moonrad had the lead for the first 3 rounds. James Newbury overtook him on the final round, coming into the stadium for the final rope climbs and snatches. So that was nice to see two guys that aren't always right at the top, but have got a really good name for themselves, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. Chandler Smith looked really good on the first event, died a little bit towards the 2nd event, but still a very strong finish from Chandler. Pat Vellner on event 1 looked very, very good for the first few rounds, and then he just seemed to die off a little bit. Obviously it's still an amazing finish for Pat Vellner, but you thought he was going to really push Matt for that #1 spot. Maybe the event just didn't quite suit him, or maybe Matt Fraser's just making everyone look a little bit average at the minute. I know how that feels. But let's talk about Matt Fraser. So he came out the blocks nice and steady. He kind of used the 400-meter run as like a little bit of a breather almost. Smashed the rope climb straight away. Then obviously with his Olympic lifting background, the snatch was just absolutely effortless for him. Like, it did not faze him at all. He would snatch it, drop it, and he stayed over the bar. A lot of the athletes were kind of stepping back, coming to the bar. Matt Fraser just snatched it, stayed there, went again. The man is a freak, and there's a reason why he's the fittest on earth, and there's a reason why he's going to win it again. So yeah, he killed it. And then he killed event 2 as well. Honestly, I think you just got to take your hat off to him. He puts in the work and then he sticks to his game plan and executes perfectly on the day. Like, you can't fault what he's doing. Fikowski took a 3rd place in Heat 2. He looked composed, he never looked stressed, so it would be interesting to see if he was just methodically working his way through it. Gudmundsson took a 4th place in Heat 3, so another good finish for him. He's definitely one of my picks, so I think he will do well. Yeah, event 2 was interesting because it was the 66 shoulder overhead, and honestly, Matt Fraser got so many no reps on that, but he still beat the field by like a minute, so I can't. So overall, after day 1 on the men's side, you've got Matt Fraser sitting in 1st place, obviously. In 2nd place, you've got Scott Panchik, who kind of like always seems to sneak in there, get some really good points on the board, and ends up sitting really high up. So awesome first day for him. In 3rd place, you've got James Newbury after his very strong finish in the 1st event. And then in 4th place, you've got Captain America, Ben Smith. So the wild card is clearly well deserved. Speaking of wild cards, Hunter McIntyre, he made it through the 1st cut, so fair play to him. I didn't think he was going to make it through that 1st cut after the squat snatches and the rope climbs. Obviously he's going to do well in the run, but then unfortunately in the 2nd workout he finished right near the bottom, so didn't make it through to day 2. I expected him to do a little bit better, to be honest, but obviously with Dave Castro announcing the cuts, it was always going to be difficult. A lot of people have struggled with that. So hats off to him. He did pretty well. He beat a lot of good people in that 1st workout. So be interesting to see if he carries on with CrossFit, if he wants to progress, because he's obviously got the engine. Just needs to work on his lifting and his strength a little bit. On the women's side, number 1 is Carissa Pierce. She smashed that 2nd workout. Honestly, she did awesome on it. 2nd place, you got Annie Thor's daughter, who again, she just always seems to be up there. Like, she's awesome. She just doesn't seem to be, I know, she's similar to like Samantha Britt. I think this is her 10th CrossFit Games, and yet here we are, we see her sitting in 2nd after day 1. And then 3rd place, we've got Tia Claire Toomey, which the 2nd event probably didn't go quite as well as what she had thought, but still 1st place, finishing the 1st event. She's going to be absolutely fine moving on through the weekend. I can't see any troubles with Tia claiming that number 1 spot, but it'll be interesting to see how the girls push her. Sigmund's daughter was right down there. I think she was in like 20th, 20 something position, which is a bit of a surprise. Same with Catherine. Brooke Wells though is in 5th, very, very strong. And then you've got Hayley Adams sitting in 6th after day 1. So if she can keep up her amazing performances, she's going to be in that top 10, like, without a shadow of a doubt. And for an 18-year-old, that's absolutely awesome. I'm going to wrap that video up there now, guys, because I feel like I'm rambling on a little bit. It's like 5:30 in the morning in the UK, so I had to get up and get this video done. If you did enjoy the video, please smash that like button and please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be another news video tomorrow morning or your evening. I don't know what these time zones are yet. I really need to work them out. So there's going to be another video on day 2 and there'll be one on day 3 and day 4. So yeah, make sure you smash that subscribe button and you do not miss out on any of the action at the CrossFit Games. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.